Today we have a very special show for you. We recently went over to Sheffield in the UK to interview Ben Moon about life, climbing and the legendary Sheffield climbing scene. We're lucky enough to have some amazing archive footage of Ben Moon and Jeremy Moffatt doing what they do best. Enjoy this trip back in time. Ben, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Let's go back to the very beginning.
Yeah.
Why did you start climbing in the first place? Why climbing as a sport?
Used to go on walking holidays with my family and another family who lived near us in London, and we used to go for walking holidays in the Lake District, and the father of the other family happened to be a rock climber, and he just took us out one day when I was about 7, and I was like sort of hooked straight away, really.
Did you want to climb big mountains, or was it all just about cragging?
Yeah, no, I wanted to be like a sort of mountaineer, really. My grandfather was into climbing, and he'd given me a load of his books. Yeah. And yeah, I was all into sort of doing like the north face of the Matterhorn and north face of the Eiger and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
have you ever done it?
No, unfortunately not.
Now's the time.
Now's the time.
Climbing hard.
Need to get Andy to guide me up there.
So you moved to Sheffield when you were 17?
Yes, yeah.
Why Sheffield?
I'd met on one of my climbing trips up to the Peak District. I'd met someone, been climbing with them for about a week, and they'd lived in Sheffield, and they just said, "Oh, you know, if you're ever up in the area, come and say hello."
See how fast you can get in built-up urban areas. No, I'm lying.
And Sheffield was a good location back then, with the Peak District and everything.
Still pretty good.
And it's still pretty good. Yeah.
Sorry it's been so long.
Nice drive out.
Very relaxing. Go on, sir.
This is the Peak District, gateway to some of the best gritstone climbing in the world. And this is why this place has become the centre of British rock climbing. Everywhere you look, there's something to climb. Crag after crag of pure friction. The boys just love it.
And what was it for you? Was it gritstone or limestone that sort of...
All of it really. It was just rock climbing. I was just happy to sort of just go rock climbing.
I think the reason I like bouldering most is just because I'm really into the difficulty aspect of climbing. You know, I'm not into dangerous routes anymore. I mean, I did them when I was young, and I just want to, you know, push myself to my physical limit.
And you had quite a sort of a hardcore group of people around you, including Jeremy Moffatt.
Yeah.
How important was that to your development as a climber?
I think it was a massive influence, meeting up with people like Jerry.
We have a lot of fun together. We always have done, and that's the important thing, you know. It doesn't matter how good a climber is. If you can't go out and have fun with him climbing, then it's not really that much use, is it?
I moved to Sheffield in '83, and I mean, I'd met Jerry that year, and basically ended up sort of training with him that winter of '83, '84, and he was about 3 years older than me at that time, and he'd already travelled around the world a lot, and knew a lot of the world's best climbers like Wolfgang Gulick and John Backer and stuff, and he'd learnt a lot from them.
Hey, we can't have this in the video. You know?
You know, like today, there was a really good sort of scene, a lot of really motivated climbers.
I think I'm bringing myself down. I think I might have to just do what you did and go from there and jump.
Oh, damn it! Should have done it then. Oh, God! Oh!
Yeah, yes!
Yes!
And were you aware sort of early on that this is something you could be quite good at?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I climbed at boarding school when I was about 15, and we had a little climbing club there, and I was you know, I was the best
Yeah.
by quite a long way there. And yeah, I felt like it came quite easily. So, but I mean, I never sort of thought about being, you know, like, you know, one of the best or making a living out of it.
Let's go back to sort of your first, not the most famous, but one of your most famous, which is Hubble. What drew you to that climb initially?
Well, it was an Andy Pollitt route actually, called the Whore of Babylon. He had free climbed, I think it was Brandenburg Gates, I think the 8 route was, and he had done the Whore of Babylon, I think at French 8A+, but he'd done it with 2 points of aid at the start, so it was like an obvious one to try and sort of free that. So yeah, that was kind of the reason for sort of getting on it.
Yeah. How long did it take you to Red Point? That?
It only took me about 10 days actually. I mean, I think I did it in 1990 after about 5 or 6 days of effort, but I think I'd had a couple of days on it the year before, and maybe a couple of days the year before that. So it's, you know, not actually that long really. I mean, I spent a lot longer on other things.
And we're in the schoolroom here today. Before you sort of started with the original schoolroom, where did you guys go and train?
Mainly we trained outdoors at just sort of bouldering at places like Stony Middleton out in the Peak District, which is like this crappy little limestone crag that always stays dry. Yeah. So mainly just bouldering, and then Andy Pollitt built like a sort of very basic wooden sort of cellar training facility in his garage, and then I copied him and built one in my cellar in a little 2 up 2 down, and that made a massive difference to sort of, you know, our level of climbing. Yeah. And meant we could train all the time, you know, regardless of the weather and stuff. When I opened up the schoolroom in '93, that was, again was a sort of another step forward really. And
because training was quite young then.
Yeah.
So you guys sort of pioneered training programs.
Oh, hardly anyone was sort of training really. I think I built my cellar in 1989 or something, and ended up spent the whole winter training, and then did Hubble in 1990, like that following year. So that was obviously, you know, it made a big difference.
Did you recreate the holds?
Yeah, someone built a model of Hubble on my cellar, but loads of people were doing it, so I don't think it was very hard. So yeah, I don't think that really worked.
Yeah. So the progression of that is the moonboard. That
yes.
It's like the sort of the next step, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it allows people to, you know, train on the same board wherever they are.
Recently, you climbed Rain Shadow.
Yep.
9A.
Yep.
Why did you decide to go back to like that really hardcore sport level? We're going to be bringing you part 2 of the interview on Thursday, when we find out how Ben Moon made his comeback to climb 9A Rain Shadow 25 years after originally climbing that grade. It's not to be missed. See you soon.